Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk here on YouTube.com. It is good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony the Hitman Florio, the Twisted Angel Dee Woodson, and we are awaiting the arrival of the Phenom Michael Bullock as tonight Smackdown Live was roaring from the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California, and the Staples Center exclusively on the USA Network, and we started it out with a talking segment, and it was the grand return of John Cena, and he made it very clear he wanted a path. He needed a path to get to WrestleMania, and basically he made it very clear that his path was he had to go different about avenues. One, maybe challenge Shinsuke Nakamura and fight for his right at the main event of WrestleMania. You know, Nakamura winning the Royal Rumble, maybe take his spot and that would preserve. But then they decided to go a different avenue. John Cena has decided that he wants to become the WWE champion, and therefore he wants to earn the right to get to the main event of WrestleMania by winning the WWE title at Fastlane. That prompts Shane McMahon to come out. And of course, pimping John Cena, showing him the love. And then Daniel Bryan comes out and says, you know what? In SmackDown Live, this is the land of opportunity. We've covered that more than anything else. You want a shot at the title? Okay, it's simple. You just got to win our main event of the evening. You have to fight the WWE champion AJ Styles. If you win, then the Fatal 5-Way turns into a six-pack challenge. If you lose, sorry, Cena, you're going to have to find another way to get to WrestleMania. This was beautifully done. Not segment of the night, because I thought there was one segment that was even better than this. And we'll get into that a little bit later tonight. But as far as the body of work went, this was good. I love Cena. I thought Cena did the right thing. You know, I like the intensity. I like what he brought to the table. And for once, the bickering between Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan was very little, especially in this segment. And the thing was, yes, Daniel kind of stepped on Shane McMahon's toes here and one-upped him, but it was for something even better. And trust me, everybody was very excited to hear John Cena versus AJ Styles on tonight's SmackDown Live as the main event of the evening. That's one thing that WWE is trying to do, is make SmackDown great again. No pun intended to a slogan from the President of the United States, but let's be realistic. For the last year or so, Raw has been better. SmackDown, and even WWE has openly admitted it, that SmackDown has been on a drought lately. Gee, I wonder why. Lackluster roster, lackluster storyline making, and you kind of made Raw this uber show because about a year or so ago we were whipping Raw's ass, and I think we all can agree with that. Raw was definitely not the A show about a year and a half ago. Now SmackDown is definitely trying to come up and get back into that fight again. But I'll willingly admit it, for the last few months, Raw has been far better than SmackDown until tonight. I thought this was a great way to start the show. And again, I don't mind the bickering between Shane and Daniel, as long as they keep it to a minimum, which this was. And like I said, they didn't. He kind of stepped on the toes of Daniel. Daniel stepped on the toes of Shane a little bit, but in the grand scheme of things, it was for the better. You know, Shane was gonna make a match. We didn't know who the opponent was. Daniel came in and threw AJ Styles to the fire. And let me tell you, we all were yelling, yes, 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 yes. Because if you remember the last time Cena and Styles went at it, all it was just a 5-star classic, and WWE's fight of the year of 2017, the epicness of the Royal Rumble event when John Cena became the 16-time WWE champion and tied Ric Flair's record. Anthony Florio, come on in, my friend. Give me your thoughts on this opening segment of the evening. I thought this was beautifully done.
Well, I'll tell you what, Meth. I mean, you're absolutely right. This was the second best segment of the night. No doubt about it. There was another segment that was better. I agree with you on that. That got right to the point. John Cena has enough stature and accomplishments to ask for and receive such a quick opportunity. I mean, I'm gonna let you in on a little something. I did a little investigative reporting earlier, and for those of you who were wondering about what happened last night, when John Cena said the match with The Undertaker was impossible, well, don't worry, my friends. Yeah. What happened last night was a swerve. That's all there is to it. It's going to be ultimately revealed as a swerve. Don't worry. We're going to get John Cena and The Undertaker at WrestleMania. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. I had heard a rumor today that they were going to have John Cena go one-on-one with Shinsuke Nakamura at Fastlane, and Cena or somebody would go Nakamura into putting his WrestleMania title shot on the line, with Nakamura going over, and Cena's still looking for that road. But this approach was much better. That's all I can say on that. You leave Nakamura alone. You keep him where he is as the rightful number one contender by virtue of winning the Royal Rumble match last month. So, yeah. So Cena, it was short and sweet and to the point. I thought his promo last night was better, honestly. And Shane and Daniel, I mean, I'll tell you what, I'm still sick of it. You know me. I mean, and now, unfortunately, it looks like we've got a power struggle of our own on Monday Night Raw. Now that Kurt Angle, Triple H, and Stephanie are going at it now with the inclusion of Ronda Rousey. But we'll get to that next week as that angle continues. But when you heard Daniel Bryan say John Cena versus AJ Styles, I'll be honest with you, I saw that coming. I saw it coming. When they said that you're gonna have a match tonight, I'm like, it's got to be AJ. It's got to be AJ. Sure enough, it was AJ Styles. And when we heard that, of course, the yes chants were firing on all cylinders, of course. But me, in the immortal words of Booker T, I had to say it. Oh, my goodness. Are you kidding me? And then, MF, if we were doing the commentary at that moment, I would have had you channel your inner Jim Ross, and I would have had you say, oh, my God in heaven, are you kidding me? And I would have had you freaking out like you always do. And you do so well. So that's what we would have done if we had done it. But no doubt about it, this was the second best segment of the night. I mean, very well done, like MF said. And Cena versus Styles, whoa. 4.5-star match at Money in the Bank, 2016. It would have been 5 if it wasn't for the Good Brothers interference. SummerSlam 2016, that was a 5-star classic. Royal Rumble last year for the title, that was a 5-star classic. Do we have another one tonight? Only time will tell. We'll find out soon enough. So, second best segment of the night, beautifully done. Everything came out great. The road for Cena to get to Fastlane, I like that. I like this a lot better. I'm glad they didn't go that rumored scenario that I read about earlier with him and Nakamura, with Nakamura putting the title shot on the line. That would have been awful. But thank God they went this route. So, nothing more to say. Didi Woodson, come on in. Let's get your thoughts on this. What a way to start it off in the City of Angels tonight.
It was a good way to start it off, and I pretty much agree. Second best segment of the night. But yeah, I mean, it was nice to actually see Daniel and Shane at least on the same page for at least this. Because as you know, but they're not on the same page when it comes to Owen and Zayn. So I'm not going to add too much more to this because I think you guys covered most all of it. So let's just move on.
All right, and we will indeed move on to the first fight of the night, which was Sami Zayn going one-on-one with Baron Corbin. And when it was all said and done, at 11 minutes and 34 seconds, the Lone Wolf gets the victory. But there was a little bit of some chicanery in the fight because Kevin Owens was at ringside and he was doing commentary, but he was not involved in the closing decision. As a matter of fact, on Dolph Ziggler, Ziggler came up out of nowhere from the crowd and super kicked Kevin Owens literally right out of his boots. Knocks him literally out because he was doing commentary with Tom Phillips, Byron Saxton, and with Corey Graves. And then he hit literally right on the side of the ring, and then in the midst of the distraction from that, Sami Zayn was wondering what happened. Next thing you know, walks right into the end of days. 1, 2, 3, Corbin wins, and then as a little parting Ziggler hits the zigzag on Corbin. Wow. Well, every man for himself, and you want to get heading into the fatal 5-way for the WWE title. When it's all said and done, it's actually Dolph Ziggler standing tall. Very rare we get to say that about Mr. Ziggles, but he did. All right, Anthony Floyo, give me your thoughts about this matchup.
Well, I'll tell you, MF, wasn't really much of a match, honestly, due to all the cut-ins and the distractions. The Ziggler attack looked good, and I hope it didn't look too good. But Owens may have gotten kicked in the back of the head, which can't make for a good night. And, you know, it was an okay fight for what it was. It was a solid match. I could give it maybe at the best 2.5 to 3 for the effort. I mean, because, you know, there was some good action in there. But the cut-ins and the distractions really took away from the bout. But it was still solid, though. I mean, Baron Corbin, I mean, he's starting to get over again. I mean, rumors of his burial were greatly exaggerated, and it looks like they're giving him some high-profile wins. I mean, we saw it last week. He beat Kevin Owens, and well, yeah, he beat Kevin Owens recently. I don't remember if it was last week or the week before to get into that match, and then from there, he goes over Sami Zayn here tonight with the help of Dolph Ziggler with that distraction on the outside. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get maybe a tag team match next week. If they end up booking Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. We'll see if they do that, which is a possibility. Or maybe they go a different route based on how the show ended tonight. I'll throw that scenario out there when we get to it. But nonetheless, this was a solid match, even though it wasn't much of a match. I mean, I thought it was still solid for what it was. Maybe like 2.5 to 3. Probably would say maybe second best fight of the night for me. One fight was better. I think we all know which one that is. So that's all I can say there. So, Didi Woodson, your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, I'll give it a solid 2.5. It was all right for what it was worth. Not really the best, but yeah, I'll go with the second best fight of the night. Not going to add too much more to it. So, Fletch, it's yours.
Very well, and I'll go with I'll actually meet you 3/4 of a star. I thought this was a good match, solid fight, and the thing was, yeah, there was a little bit of movement. Did go back to, the Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon thing again. Very little, not much. It was basically, Shane was questioning Daniel about why is Owens out there, and he's like, hey, he's just doing commentary. He's not going to get involved. Don't worry. Everything's going to be fine. It looked like Daniel was really pissed at Shane, thinking that, did you send Ziggler out there and everything else? And he's like, you know what? He's like, He's like, "Nah, that's a wonderful ending. That's I got no. Hey, I didn't know Ziggler was going to be out there. Hey, fair game. Everything's fine. I think it's a great night, a great way to end the show. A great way to end it." He was like, "You know what? Since I'm close to home, is it all right if I go see my wife and my kid? It's been a little bit some time that since I've seen them. Is that all right? I think you can hold down the fort for the rest of the night. I'm just gonna go to see Bree and little Birdie if that's okay." Daniel's like, hey, Shane's like, "You know what, man? I'm down with that. No problem with that. Say hi to the family for me. You have yourself a good night." So everything was cool. It seems like I said, you could tell the animosity is there, but the thing is, it's not over. It's not like they're not ramming it down our throats. They're giving it in little bits and little pieces, and that's fine as long as you give it to us in a respectable level and don't try to ram this down our throats. Then I'm cool with that. So he wants to go home. He wants to go home, see his lovely wife, see his lovely daughter. You know what? I'm not a family guy. I don't have kids or anything else. I know if I ever did, I would not stop Daniel from doing that. I would be the same way. I've been like, you know what, man? You feel like I got it. Go home to your wife. Go home to your kid. You deserve the night off. All right, man. I got it. I'll hold the fort. So cool to see that. And we move on to the next fight of the night, which was Wyatt going up against Naomi one-on-one. When it was all said and done, the winner of the bout in 8 minutes and 32 seconds was Ruby Riott. And at the end, she gave that look to Charlotte Flair. 2 down, 1 to go. Now both ladies can say that they got in 2 members of their factions out of the way. And when they battle it out at Fastlane, one is going to get the right to say, I got all 3 of you in one found swoop. Ruby Riott has now defeated in back-to-back weeks. She's defeated Becky Lynch and Naomi. A long time ago, Charlotte Flair got Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan in back-to-back weeks. Something has to give, and it will at Fastlane. Dee wasn't come on in, our women's division expert. I know you've been very high on Monday Night Raw. I know you haven't been too thrilled about the SmackDown women in recent weeks. However, what did you think? What did you think about this match?
This one was a little bit better. Still not high quality, but I mean, you still got this little stable that's the Absolution wannabe that still needs some work. They still need a lot of work. But in the end, Ruby is proving that she is able to get up there and compete at that level. Sasha's tapping out, and now because of that, so for me, I guess I'm going to give it a 2.5 stars probably. Only reason I got quiet is because I've been watching the match on Facebook, so I know you guys will probably address that later, so I won't say much about it. But yeah, I'll give it probably about 2.5 stars. It was all right. It's definitely not the best match in the world, but Riot Squad is now, Riot's now 2, Charlotte's now 2. Next up is the 2 of them at Fastlane, so we'll see what happens there. So I'll toss it over to one of you guys.
All right, we're gonna go right into it, and we're gonna continue. And yeah, this was a very solid fight. I thought this was an okay match. I like the fact of how they were incorporating, the whole storyline and everything else. And Naomi did do a very good job of, the action. She's definitely a very athletic individual, and Ruby Riott looked very strong in this fight, and she gets the victory. She gets that second member takedown, and now she's looking right at the women's champion herself, the Queen Charlotte Flair. The Punk Princess against the Queen, and we're gonna get that a couple of weeks from now at Fastlane, and one of them will go in as the and very telling too. During that match, you notice they had a thing of Carmella, so it kind of I don't know why they did that. Maybe that's just maybe a throw off, because of the fact that there is the Money in the Bank still out there. We haven't been, there was an attempt once, but it kind of backfired when the referee got drop kicked out of the ring. Well, drop kick Murphy'd out of the ring is like I call it, and we just gotta wait and see what happens. But definitely interesting to know. But it has to be main focus Ruby Riott versus Charlotte Flair for the title. This is about maybe another 2-star fight. I don't think there was really nothing bad about it. It was just solid for what it was worth. All right, Florio, go.
2 stars. I mean, the match never really got out of second gear. Some good moments, but a bit clunky overall. And all right, I've just recently started having a love affair with Ruby Riott, and MF, you hit it on the head. You know the pet names I have for her, the Punk Princess and the Dark Angel. Yes, you got that right. That's what I would have done if we were on the commentary, without a doubt. But the thing is, that Riot kick move of hers just doesn't scream big time finishing move. Just doesn't really have a lot of dramatic flair or impact to it. I mean, yes, she beat Naomi clean as a drum. That's great. I mean, that's huge. I mean, picking up a win against the former 2-time women's champion and one of the 3 best women on SmackDown, the other 2 of which were in her corner, by the way, in Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, and to have Ruby Riott go over her clean as a whistle. I mean, they obviously want us to take her as a serious threat, even though realistically she's not. We all know Charlotte Flair is going to successfully defend the SmackDown Women's Championship at Fastlane in a couple weeks. So, good idea to build up the momentum, give us a reason to take her seriously as a serious threat, even though we all know Charlotte's going to go over. So there's really nothing left to say on this. So this was really a 2-star match, and great for Ruby to, get this clean as a whistle win, but ultimately, biggest match of her career coming up. I love you, Punk Princess. I love you, Dark Angel, but you're not beating the Queen. Sorry. Move on.
And then the next thing we know, we had what I believe was the segment of the night. It started with the New Day, and they, cutting a promo about their rivalry and everything else. Then it brought the Usos out, and boy, they went there. It exploded and then some. It was basically the Usos was saying, we did that funny ha-ha dancing around, painting themselves and everything else, looking like a rainbow and the whole 9 yards, and it didn't get us nowhere. As a matter of fact, we got held back of WrestleMania for 9 years now, either due to injury or because the company didn't believe in us. We never got our opportunities at the biggest show ever. And this time around, we're running through you boys to get to our opportunity, because you guys have been, you've been about the pancakes and just dancing around, the unicorns, the trombone and the whole 9 yards. Biggie went off. He blew a gasket. on the Usos and fired back at them and clapped back at them, saying, you know what? We hosted WrestleMania last year, and where the hell you boys? You were eating catering for all I care. You know what? And when it's all said and done, we're not just going to beat you boys. We're going to become 5-time tag team champions, and we're the ones that's going to WrestleMania, and you're going to have to fall back in line again. Oh, my good. The intensity on Big E and the intensity of the Usos was so fevered pitch. This is why we call this the tag team rivalry of 2017. This is why, without a doubt, SmackDown Live, these are the two best teams in SmackDown Live, and these are the only two teams that is really legitimate in the tag team division. And it doesn't matter who you are or what you're about. This is what we wanted. We had that glory war, back at SummerSlam. Then they had the first ever Hell in a Cell tag team title fight. That was so epic. They've had so many battles and so many wars that we know what to expect when these two get it on. And the promos are getting better. They're getting sharper. They are spot on. Whoever wrote this laid it on the table for us. And while we were thinking, oh God, not again, these two teams going at it one more time, they just proved to us, shut up, take my money, and guys, welcome back. I'm glad that you guys are going at it again because you're the only thing that's right about the SmackDown Live tag team division. It's only fitting that it's you two at the end, and you guys are going to be battling it out at Fastlane because my God, what a battle this is going to be. And then the other kicker to see the Bludgeon Brothers come out, and they didn't even talk, but just them being so intimidating, coming to that ring, making that V-line with their little meat cleaver weapons, and both the Usos and the New Day duck out like, nope, I don't want none of this. Later for you. We'll take our ball and we'll go home. We'll fight another day with you two knuckleheads. I've never been more excited for the tag team division on SmackDown Live than I am right now. Finally, we got storyline progression in the tag team division, and more importantly, we got some legitimate contenders now. New Day, you can say Gable and Benjamin are definitely in the mix, and now you got the Bludgeon Brothers. Oh my God. I don't know what to say. For once, the tag team division on SmackDown Live, it looks like we have a clear-cut picture. And that's something that I have not been able to say in over a year. Well done, guys. Bravo. Segment of the night. Anthony, go.
Segment of the night. Absolutely right. So good to see the New Day get out of that frivolity zone. Big E cut a money promo there. Whoa. I mean, Big E came out of nowhere with that. Great promo there, just like Roman Reigns last night on Raw. I mean, that's really what happened. And very good promo once things got intense between the Usos and the New Day. Someday, if they ever decide to split up the New Day, I think Big E could be a very successful singles act if they ever decide to send him in that direction. He's gained so much confidence over the years that he could really seize that moment. The Usos continue to be fantastic on the mic, and these two teams elevate each other when they get the opportunity. And we're looking at a show stealer match at Fastlane there. There's, of course, the other match that I think could be a show stealer, that U.S. title showdown with Bobby Roode and Randy Orton. I mean, those are the two matches I've got my eye on when it comes to Fastlane. Because I got a feeling that WWE Championship main event, I got a feeling that's going to be a cluster bleep fight in a train wreck. But we'll find out. But everything they said in these promos, I mean, this to me, I think, was the second best New Day Uso segment ever. The rap battle, of course, was better. Even though I'm not into that style of music, y'all know that. You know the kind of music I'm into. You know, the singer-songwriter, folk, pop stuff. That's what I do. But the one time I actually got into the rap thing, it was because of that last summer. But this almost topped it. Almost topped it. The Bludgeon Brothers. Oh man. Their movements are so orchestrated that they don't seem authentic, but rather a corporate cartoon character or a cosplay act. So it didn't feel legit that the Usos and New Day would be scared enough to leave the ring like that. Something's going to happen at Mania. I think we're going to get some sort of cluster bleed tag team match at WrestleMania. That's what I think we're going to get. Because I think Benjamin and Gable are going to be thrown in there. I think the Bludgeons are going to be thrown in there. And we'll find out. But with Usos and New Day, we got something special. I mean, you look at the matches they had last year, you know, the kickoff match at SummerSlam, the Sin City Street Fight, the first ever tag team Hell in a Cell. They've done it all, and they've all been classics. I have no doubt in my mind, barring some cluster bleep booking, that this is going to be another classic. And this promo tonight definitely raised the excitement level sky high. Well done. Segment of the night. Nothing more to say. Didi Woodson, New Day and Usos, they did it again. Oh, did they do it again? Ooh.
Oh yeah, you get these two together, and they are always doing it. I mean, they just bring it to that level, and there's just no way of bringing that level down once you get those guys in the ring. You know, from the rap battle to just promos like this. I mean, it seems like it's just magic getting them together and seeing what they can do and how they can better each other. Each and every time they meet in the ring, whether it's verbal or match wise. And there's just so many possibilities of what it could be, especially since you have 3 guys to 2 guys here, because you never know what kind of combination you're going to get from New Day when it comes to the matches in the ring anyway. So, I mean, it's something to look forward to, and SmackDown definitely knows how to work the storyline with these two to make you want more, even when the promo's over. But then seeing the Bludgeon Brothers walk out at the end of the promo, it's like, okay, we have we have a new tag team here that's ready to jump in on this, and it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, adding Harper and Rollin into this title picture, and which one of these 2 teams, or if all 3 of them, are going to just implode in the ring in a future match. It's like I said, it's leaving you wanting to know more about what they have planned for these 3 teams and what they're going to do in the future. So, not much more I had to say about it. So, Fletch, it's yours.
All right, and we are indeed going to move on to the next thing on the show, and it ended up being a match, as it was Aiden English going one-on-one with Shinsuke Nakamura, winner of the bout, 9 minutes and 33 seconds, was the artist formerly known as Shinsuke Nakamura, and I believe, Anthony Florio, you get to lead off on this matchup.
Yeah. 2 to 2.5. I mean, a win is a win, yes, but this should have been a dominant win, honestly. This should have been a squash. This should not really a squash, but it should have been, an easy win for Nakamura. He needs dominant victories heading towards the biggest match of his life at WrestleMania 34, when it'll be him against AJ Styles, barring anything out of the ordinary. Please don't let anything out of the ordinary happen. But Rusev provided the distraction, but Shinsuke gave up a lot of offense here. I mean, I don't know why they felt the need to protect Aiden English here. I don't know why. I mean, going into the biggest match of your career, he needs all the dominant victories he can get. They could have, I think, it overstayed its welcome a little bit, and it took a little bit away from the main event. If I'm going to be real honest with you, I wish they could have added more time to the main event, made that thing even better. But nonetheless, I'll give it 2 to 2.5 for the effort, even though I'm leaning more towards 2 on that. But Shinsuke needs all the dominant wins he can get and performances he can get heading towards WrestleMania in the biggest match, not just of his wrestling career, but of his life. That's all there is to say about that. Bigger than any Wrestle Kingdom match he's ever had, even the one he had against AJ Styles, the 5-Star Classic a couple of years ago. So nothing really more to say on this. 2 to 2.5, overstayed its welcome. Should have been like maybe 3 to 4 at best. So nothing more to say on that. So Didi, do you echo my sentiments on this?
Pretty much. I'm leaning towards the 2 as well. I really got kind of bored with it, and besides, I was a little behind on when starting the show, so thank goodness I recorded it and kind of fast forwarded through the commercials. But I actually ended up having to fast forward through this one a little bit because it was just so boring. And even on fast forward, you could still see the action that was going on, and it's just I was bored with it. It did not keep my attention, and that's very bad for a Nakamura match because usually I'm sitting there on the edge of my seat waiting to see what he's going to do next. And this one is just, I didn't feel the oomph. I didn't feel the excitement. It's just, I don't know if it was because it was who he was facing or if it was just the fact that there's not really a storyline built around this. I mean, it was just a throw together match. And I think that had a lot to do with it. I mean, I'm the type of person, I'm into the storylines. I'm into finding out, what they're going to do next and how they're going to play off of whatever they're building up for. But this one, I mean, like I said, there wasn't any build up to it. There's no basis for it. It was just a throw together match or a filler match, I guess you could say. So yeah, I'm definitely, a 2-star match. So not much more I have to say about it. Fletch, take it.
I'm going to agree with you guys. This was a 2-star fight. I think it could have been a lot more better if it was given a little more time, but I think just the level of the action just kind of wasn't really what we expected it. It kind of sucked the life out of the building, but it was good for what it was worth. I think the outcome was fine, and I'm happy that Nakamura gets a win. But like you said, is that something down the line heading into another match or down what are we going to expect? We'll wait and see what happens, but definitely solid, good enough. All right, guys, it's time for the main event, and it's the big one. John Cena goes one-on-one with the phenomenal AJ Styles. If John Cena wins, then the fight becomes a 6-pack challenge for the WWE Championship. If AJ wins, well, then he prevents Cena from going into the WWE Championship fight at Fastlane. It remains a fatal 5-way, and basically it literally then becomes basically Cena, what do you do now? What's your next what's your path to the title now if that happens? Well, when it was all said and done, guys, the winner of the bout in over 20 minutes, actually, let me see if it's a 21 minutes, 39 seconds, John Cena wins. We now have a 6-pack challenge, and this is where it gets chaotic because after the fight was over, after Cena won cleanly, got an AA on AJ Styles for the victory, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens both tried to make their way to the ring. Baron Corbin came out. He jumped Cena, and then a 3-on-2 beatdown. Dolph Ziggler came out and basically cleared the ring. At the end, it was Ziggler, Styles, and Cena standing tall. Well, then it looks like what happened. Ziggler lays out laid out AJ Styles, well, at least threw him out to the ring. Then Cena hits an AA on Dolph Ziggler, and mysteriously the picture went away. Like, we lost the feed. They went into another show. But I will tell you right now, after what happened, because there are a couple of insiders in the Staples Center, they are reporting this. After the cameras went off, after Cena hit the AA, AJ Styles hit the phenomenal forearm on John Cena. He dropped the phenomenal forearm on Cena after it went over, and it was AJ Styles standing tall when it was all said and done. Oh my goodness. Didi Woodson, come on in, my love. I think we all can agree. Fight of the night.
Yes. Fight of the night for sure. This was the one that I was on the edge of my seat for. This is the one that I think we all were, once we found out it was going to happen, we were all waiting for. And that we were all just, wanting to see, okay, what was going to happen. You almost knew that Cena would probably come out on top of the match just to make it the 6-way. But I mean, the match itself, I mean, they went toe-to-toe. They went finisher to finisher. I mean, they just kept kicking out of everything that each one of them gave each other. And I mean, it was just a very exciting match. And, the start of another little storyline here now, throwing Cena into this giant jumbled mess we have of a match. But at the same time, you have 5 men going against Styles now for this title to see which one of them's going to go into WrestleMania to face Nakamura. And it's just like, wow, you got it. It's just amazing what they're coming up with on this. But for me, this match was 4.5 to almost a 5-star match. I mean, it was a very, very good match. Just so much going on here. At the end, seeing everybody come out and everything. And yeah, I with you, Fletch, I do think they kind of ended the match a little, or the show a little early. They should have stuck around to show that little bit there that you're talking about at the end. But yeah, it's just amazing that they pulled this off, because I mean, this match could have been pay-per-view quality in my opinion. So not much more I have to say about it. I toss it back to you, I guess.
Fight of the night, no doubt about it. This was at least 3.5 to 4 stars. This was beautifully done. Great match, great action. This is what you expected from Cena and AJ, and they nailed it. The commercial breaks did not hinder the fights. That normally is one thing that we always get concerned about in a championship fight, is that the match could get ruined by commercial breaks. It did not. It actually kept a solid pace. It brought everything down to the canvas and the whole 9 yards. And when it was all said and done, this was an amazing main event of the evening. Great match, whatever you want to say. This was awesome, and the fans ate it up. The crowd in LA turned into that typical IWC crowd that you were hoping and praying for, and it was a solid, amazing main event. Yes, Cena wins. Look, they need something for him on the road to WrestleMania. There's no doubt about it. It looks like, yes, they got to do something about what's going to happen next, but it's also a smart move. It's also a good move, because of the fact that to really solidify yourselves and give SmackDown Live some really good action, and that's what they need. The talent, the stars, the body of work. They needed people like this. They need matches like this. And Cena versus AJ Styles was not just a logical choice, but it was almost expected. Anthony kind of alluded to it, that we kind of were thinking that it was going to happen, but the execution of the fight was so good and so solid and so whatever you want to say. It was amazing. And at the end of the day, it was awesome. It was a tremendous main event. And when it was all said and done, Cena and AJ did it again. Another chapter in their great legacy battle. Nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
Fight of the night. I'll go as far as to say maybe the TV fight of the year. I mean, you got to rank it up there with the gauntlet from last week, on Raw. But man alive, this was amazing. How to rank it? I mean, it was not a 5-star classic, but it was almost one. I could give this 4 to 4.25, maybe. I think that's the best I can go. I mean, they delivered again. I mean, there's no question about it. They delivered again. We knew they would. I mean, Shakespearean drama, had the feel of a title match, had the feel of a WrestleMania match. I mean, four times they've met. Every one of them at least 4 stars or higher. I mean, that is how good these two guys are. The chemistry these two have is off the charts. They deliver again in spades, and we get an instant classic. And to get this on free television, I mean, how awesome is that? That's just wow. I mean, going in, we knew they were going to steal the show. Once Daniel Bryan made the match, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be the fight of the night. No doubt about it. I'm not surprised that they delivered one more time. Instant classic. Great action. Near falls. The AA through the table. Brilliant. A reverse AA by Cena to win it. I mean, just amazing. Now we've got ourselves a 6-pack challenge with John Cena in there. I wouldn't be surprised if next week we see Ziggler, Cena, and Styles against Owen, Zayn, and Corbin in a 6-man tag. Yeah, let's do that. We do that. Ooh. Can you imagine the tension in that one? Both teams are going to have to find a way to get along to win the match. What's going to happen there? I wouldn't be surprised if they book it. So that's in Green Bay next week for the go-home show. So that's an idea, but we'll see. So Cena in it, I like it. I like it a lot better than that little scenario I mentioned earlier. So, man alive, what else is there to say? 4 to 4.25 stars. Fight of the night, and it ranks up there. This is the SmackDown TV fight of the year so far. That's all I can say on that. I mean, like I said, it ranks right up there with the Raw gauntlet from last week. So, nothing more to say. 4 to 4.25. Let's put the overall review on this, MF.
And actually, I'll get to start it off on this one. And yeah, I'm gonna say this was a really good show. This was a solid SmackDown Live. They nailed it again, 2 weeks in a row for them. I gotta give this about a 7 out of 10. I'm not gonna go overly about it because there were some good matches, there were some good moments. The flow of the show was really consistent too. It wasn't like there was really any slow spots throughout the show. All the matches were pretty solid. The promo segments were pretty good. From Cena making his return to SmackDown Live to the epicness of the tag team with the New Day and the Usos. And then the matches themselves, yeah, okay, I could give you Nakamura and Aiden English wasn't really much to desire. And, and then we had Baron Corbin and Sami Zayn at the beginning, which was pretty good. A little tainted towards the end, but that's all right. But the main event itself was really a great way to end it. A nice little setup for Fastlane as well. Nothing bad whatsoever. 7 out of 10. Anthony, go.
7 out of 10. You're absolutely right. Both shows were really good this week. I know when I say I thought Raw was a smidgen better, everybody's gonna say, "Oh, that's because you're a Raw guy." Well, yes, in a sense, but there was just something about last night's show that was just a smidgen better. I think it was the in-ring segments. I mean, we had like 4 or 5 quality in-ring segments, and throw on top of that like 3 or 4 quality matches. It comes to the overall body of work. When it comes to the in-ring action, the matches, Cena and AJ hands down was the best. That's all there is to say about that. They overtook anything. They overtook any match on Raw last night. So, yeah, so Cena and AJ, clearly the fight of the night. The other matches were solid to good at best. And that great segment with the Usos and the New Day, they deliver again. Their second best segment overall. The rap battle from last summer was the only one that was better. And it almost topped it. It almost did. But the Bludgeons put the kibosh on that. And then from there, that opening segment with Cena, Shano, and Daniel, that was a solid segment as well. And the other matches were solid to okay at best. But the real reason why this is a 7 out of 10 was because of the main event alone. So another solid week for SmackDown Live. I mean, not the greatest show, but it wasn't the worst either. So you're slowly getting your footing back, MF. You're slowly getting your footing back after being dominated by Raw over the last, few months. I mean, pretty much since around the time of the Survivor Series, and including Survivor Series. Let's not forget that. So, so we'll see what happens next week when they go to the great state of Wisconsin, Monday Night Raw at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee, and SmackDown Live, which will be the go-home show for Fastlane, the Rush Center in Green Bay, Wisconsin. All roads lead to Columbus, Ohio, the Nationwide Arena, right around Dee Dee Woodson's neck of the woods there. So yeah, we'll see what happens. So solid 7 out of 10. I agree. So nothing more to say. Dee Dee Woodson put the bow on it.
Yeah, Columbus is about 3 hours away, because that's where I was yesterday when I took my college boy back to school. So yeah, it's Columbus is the capital of Ohio, so it's pretty big down there. But yeah, it for me it's not as Cleveland's closer to my neck of the woods than Columbus. So, but it's in our area. So yeah, I'll agree with the rating. Definitely 7 out of 10. Even the we didn't talk much about the backstage segments, but even the backstage segments were really good today. The only thing I think that kind of broke up any of the matches beside the English Nakamura was the one where they kept going to Zayn and Corbin, where they kept going to the backstage segments. I mean, with Shane and Daniel Bryan. I didn't quite see why we needed that during the match. Maybe after the match would have been a little bit better. It kind of wasn't the best idea, I don't think, but that's just me. All the matches were strong. They all were storyline based, except for English and Nakamura. The set, like I said, all segments were good. Had a heck of a main event. I mean, a lot better than the match that Raw put on for a main event. But yeah, it was a very strong show. I'm hoping for the go-home show that they don't screw it up and go backwards, because as you know, WWE has a bad habit on both shows of making their go-home shows be pretty stupid and just not really a lackluster to lead you up to a pay-per-view. So I'm hoping that we keep this up with SmackDown for the go-home show next week, and that that we have some matches that makes us look forward to the pay-per-view. Makes it, makes us say what Fletch always says, just here, take my money, give me the show. And so I'm hoping that we get that next week and that we hit it out of the park. So other than that, I think I'm good on ending my portion here. So I will see you all next week. So have a good night, guys.
All right, Dee Dee, thank you very much. And yes, indeed, have a great evening. It's time for the Mikey's Mindset, and we actually do have a Mikey's Mindset here. First off, I should say, the final result just came in a short while ago. I think we kind of noticed it, but the winners of the Mixed Match Challenge was indeed The Miz and Asuka. They move on. They have advanced to the semifinal, knocking off Sasha Banks and Finn Balor. It was an all Raw battle there, so it is all said and done with that one. And now they have advanced to the semifinal of the tournament. And now we move on to Ring of Honor. And this week, Ring of Honor did their taping from the center stage in Atlanta, Georgia, which was formerly, if you remember back in the day, the WCW Saturday Night area back in those days. So they started it off with the Young Bucks, Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson, as they went up against Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky. When it was all said and done, the Young Bucks gets the victory on that. And well, it just seemed it was a solid fight. The Young Bucks made it look easy for regular viewers. They did all their impressive moves and everything else, and this was actually pretty solid for what it was worth. So I definitely enjoyed the show. I definitely enjoyed the match, and they did such a great job on that. The next thing they did was they were kind of hyping up about a lot of the tournament. Of course, the Women of Honor tournament was going on. They showed some highlights of a couple of the first round matches. So they actually had was Kelly Klein going up against Bossall Brooks. They were hyping that one. Then they also showed how Kelly Klein advanced to the next round, and they took some approach with their next one, which was Deonna Purrazzo and Holiday with the comments from the women. This was one that Deonna Purrazzo advanced through to the next round of the tournament as well. And they showed the brackets of what's going to be happening. You know what? I'm going to say it. I understand why, you're trying to limit the show for 1 hour, but why can't the women of honor get on the actual program? I mean, yes, I know that they have exclusive fights on youtube.com that you can watch right now. Please don't leave the show tonight, guys. Not yet. You guys can watch it after the show is over. But I mean, come on. You gotta do the right thing and give them the opportunity. But I don't know. I kind of felt like that was a little bit bad. Then our main event of the evening, Silas Young putting the Ring of Honor television title on the line against Kenny King. When it was all said and done, the winner of the bout and the new Ring of Honor television champion, Kenny King, he stuns the wrestling world, gets a big title win. We'll have to wait and see about this, but I gotta say this was definitely an awesome way to go. Two good, solid endings to the show tonight. Solid, but not great, so I'm not going to hype it too much. This was another 7 out of 10. Now we're going to get into the RWA Perseverance. It's going down this Saturday night, the March the 3rd, live from the Chop Shop in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. And oh my goodness, we have ourselves a big fight card. I believe I counted 7 matches on the fight card, guys, and we will get things started right now, and I'm going to share it with you guys. So here you are. Now you're on my screen. I hope you guys are. Yeah, there you are. Now you're on. And here are your matches. Starting it off, match number 1. It's going to be the Suplex Sweetheart, Asana, against Judge Logan Chambers. And this match will be contested in a last person standing match. Oh my goodness. This is really dangerous, guys, because now we're talking no no D you know what, no DQs, no count outs, no pinfall, no submission. You are to incapacitate your opponent to the point that they cannot get up to the count of 10. Last person standing is without a doubt one of the most dangerous matches in wrestling. And yeah, Asana has been through a lot lately. She wants to prove that she can hang with the boys, and she's been fighting with Judge Logan Chambers a little bit, and a couple of victories have been very questionable for the judge. You know, he's pulled out some dirty tactics to get the victory. Asana wants this one, and now she's going to be going in against Judge Logan Chambers in what undoubtedly the most dangerous match in professional wrestling. So good luck to both of them. This is going to be amazing. Next fight of the night, the Mind Eraser, Mike Grassa going one-on-one with Shay Cash. This is actually an attraction fight. Mike Grassa just made his return back to RWA not too long ago. Shay Cash now partner in crime, his buddy Frank Champion retiring from professional wrestling. So what is Shay Cash going to do now that he's a solo wrestler? And what's Mike Grassa going to do? Because of the fact, is he on that verge of trying to make another run at the RWA Triple Crown Championship? We'll wait and see what happens. This is going to be an interesting matchup. Great battle one-on-one on Saturday night. Next up on the fight card, we got is AJ Phoenix to go one-on-one with Sean Leiter. Now, this one's another proving ground match. This is a man fight. Even though AJ Phoenix has done a lot in his young career, now he's trying to prove to get out of the shadow of his family to be the future of we already know that Big Daddy T Phoenix is without a doubt the most decorated champion in the history of the RWA. Now the heir apparent wants to become the man, and he's going up against a very good superstar in Sean Leiter. What's that going to be like? Well, we're going to find out on Saturday night. Next up, this is also another proving ground fight. My man Jack Connor goes one-on-one with one of the most over wrestlers, and this is going to be a very Jack Connor's made it very clear he wants to become once again the RWA Triple Crown champion, and he's going to take this new path, this new style, new look. What's that going to bring to the table? Well, we'll definitely find out, because King has his mark on the RWA lately. Many people believe that he's a champion in the very near future, either hype or possibly the champion, the Triple Crown champion. So let's see what happens as he goes up against a former Triple Crown champion in Jack Connor. All right. Next up we got is, this is a tag team attraction fight, as it is Jimmy Hansen and Alex Corvus, members of the Foundation, against Pumpalicious in a tag team attraction. Of course, the Foundation and Pumpalicious was part of that 8-man tag team brawl that went down not too long ago, and now it's just basically a turf war. You know, it's basically the RWA basically trying to deal with the Foundation to try to keep them at bay from trying to take over the company. It's basically a turf war, guys. This is going to be a very good tag team attraction. Nothing more to say, so we're just going to move on. The next fight of the night, well, speaking of that Team RWA versus Team Foundation, this one is going to be unbelievable. 6-man tag team war. Jason Devine, Ricky Medeiros, and Big Daddy T Phoenix goes up against fellow members of the Foundation, as it will be Chris Sterling, and yes, the Abruzis are back. Francesco Abruzzi and Cipriano Abruzzi. The Abruzzi family has reunited and they are back. They are together with Chris Sterling to try to take out 3 members of the RWA family. Big Daddy T Phoenix, Ricky Medeiros, and Jason Devine. Goodness, what a battle that's going to be. A 6-man tag team warfare that's going to break out Saturday Chop Shop in Pawtucket. And then we got a non-title fight. The RWA Hype Champion, Kellen Thomas, to go one-on-one with Dan Terry. This is going to be an interesting matchup. Dan Terry, this is a big opportunity for him because if he wins this match, maybe he gets a Hype Championship. Of course, Kellen Thomas, the last time out that he was at, he fought at the Chop Shop, Deanna on Fire showed up, and she had her eye on the Kellen Thomas. Now, questions are arising. Is she interested or is she gold bricking? And is her eyes more because champion? Well, get in contact with Kellen Thomas. Unfortunately, I was unable to. So basically, for all you great fans out there, and I know my buddy Corey Lencore, he's probably going to be he's been all over the hell. He's been unable to get anything. Something's got to give. We'll definitely find out on Saturday night what that's. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. And then the main event. It don't get no bigger than this, folks. The RWA Triple Crown on the line. The Thanksgiving Throwdown winner, Chris Cruz, goes one-on-one with the reigning, defending, undisputed Renegade Wrestling Alliance Triple Crown champion, the Ace, Mike Monteiro. These guys are best friends. They're tag team partners. They're known as the Stack Deck, but now the Stack Deck will be fighting for the richest prize in the industry, the RWA Triple Crown Championship. My goodness, what a main event this is going to be. Chris Cruz is a former Triple Crown champion. He's definitely come a long way to where he is now. Mike Monteiro's been the champion for a good few months now. I think like 5 or 6 months now. And without a doubt, he is the ace that runs the place, the face of the RWA. Could history be made? And could Chris Cruz regain the title? Or will Mike Monteiro persevere and prove that he is the ace of the RWA, successfully defend the title against his very own friend? Whatever the case may be, folks, it is going to be an unbelievable event. It goes down this Saturday night, live from the Chop Shop in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. There are some great seats still available. If you guys can get them, go on to squareup.com/RWA for all the information, guys. It is going to be an unbelievable event. All right, guys, that puts a bow on the show for this evening. Anthony Fleo, come on in. Do you actually have a docket now for Strictly Sports for Friday night? And if you do, please let us know now.
Of course I have a docket, MF. You know I come prepared. So here we go. Strictly Sports Friday night at 10:30 right here on the it'll be on the Tone 25, not here on Brace Fan 95, but here we go. Blake Bortles has signed a 3-year extension with the Jacksonville Jaguars. We will talk about that. Unfortunately, the show will be dominated by hard times, noggin diva nonsense, joy. But, it is what it is. Mark Cuban fined $600,000 for tanking comments and the downfall of the Mavericks organization. Will Kawhi Leonard return to the San Antonio Spurs? The Louisville men's basketball team stripped of their 2013 national championship. Yahoo's report that shook the college basketball world. And then in much lighter news, we will have a recap of the NHL trade deadline. And then we'll close it out with the NBA power rankings. Number 1, I'll tell you right now, is an absolute lock. No other team will be number 1 other than the team that I have at number 1 personally as of right now. So that's all there is to it. It's 10:30 Friday night, the Tone 25 at YouTube.com. I'll be here. MF will be here. Hopefully, we'll have Bullock back with us. So, nothing more to say, MF. Put a bow on this thing.
Yes, indeed, and it's going to be an unbelievable show, 10:30 Eastern on Friday night, and that's it for this evening. Thank you, Anthony Floyo. Thank you, Dee Dee Woodson, as always. And for all of us here, have a good night, everybody. So long for now, and bye-bye. You guys, we'll see you guys on Friday. So long.